Welcome to the 21st Bold Cameroonian Arts Award on set. My name is Foo Chi Wei. Today we are talking with the representative from School of Rock, the musical by Cempaka Performing Arts Company, Senyum Berhad. Welcome to On Set. School of Rock, it was based on a movie in 2003, right? How did you actually adapt it to suit the current audience, and especially in the musical, because the original wasn't a musical, yeah, into a Malaysian context?
I would say the source material is strong. It was a big hit film, and actually it was converted into a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. He bought the rights. Okay. Yes, he bought the rights. Because the source material is strong, that even Nickelodeon done a TV series of it. So you could see it's very popular. So we didn't want to change anything because that's the winning formula, right? You got a winning formula. The film's done well, the musical's done well on Broadway, and now there's a TV show. But you still want to put your slant on it. You still want to put your own, your own stamp on it. And I'd have to say, obviously, the biggest change would be the lead character, Dewey, by casting it with Ileana here as the lead. That would probably be the biggest sort of change to it, but still maintaining the character's traits, but also not ignoring that it is played by a female. So that's probably the biggest change.
Was it a challenge for you? Do you have to look at the source material and then thinking, oh, how am I going to portray that?
I feel like it wasn't that hard to be a man, maybe, but it was harder to, because Jack Black is such an iconic
personality.
It just felt like I had to, I don't know how I would copy that but make it my own, but I ended up making it my own.
Yeah, you make it on your own, but I wouldn't say copy though, right? You want to interpret your own
but
way.
It's definitely a lot to live up to.
Yeah, understand, but Ileana and I had spoke about, we spoke about early about keeping, obviously she is playing it as a female, keeping the eccentricities of Jack Black, but not doing a carbon copy.
Not a sloppiness of him.
Yeah. No, keeping it, she's still, there's a very feminine part she adds into that. And that's something she added along the way that was, to her credit. And that's also what made the performance very dynamic and different from just being that slouch rock star character that Jack Black played.
I think, regardless of whether the gender is male or female, I think it's more on whether the person can handle the task or not, and that's what you did.
Yeah. Adapting such a well-known musical can be tricky. How did the team approach balancing the original show iconic music and humor with new ideas to make this version feel fresh? Well, here we changed the gender of the main role and then relevant for us now.
That's a good question, Ileana. No. Well, I think one of the things that you can change without, doing anything detrimental to the story is the set. So the story is set in a prep school, and Broadway had a big prep school. Most visions of it just do a prep school. So we had the prep school, but then I was like, it's all about rock and roll. That's the soul of it, right? That's the soul of the story. Putting a 14-foot high guitar in the center really lets you know what you're in for. And that just gave that rock and roll vibe. And of course it lights up and it does everything else. But it just, already you're setting a tone that's very different from previous versions.
Well, the Cempaka school production always have very high value in the set design and lighting, yeah? And often I wonder, is it like a gotong royong, everybody come together with parents and professional to actually do up all this set and design, or is actually hire professional?
That sounds great. I like your first idea. I wish that was the way.
No, I thought that was, usually how it happened with parent.
No. I think through the years we have evolved a bit. When we started doing this, 20 years ago, we had a lot of people who actually chipped in to help, and we got a lot of the school teachers and students to help. But I think through the years, things just change. With we were not really sure why as well. But we've got lesser people involved in the show, and I think that also helps us to tighten up things, to streamline. So in terms of all the sets that you mentioned just now, we do have people to help us build the set and all that. But of course, everything starts from the production concept, which comes from Scholar as a director. So once we've got that, then every department will know what they're supposed to do. And there will be certain teachers who actually help us, but they also have their own timetable and their own jobs. So it's not like they can be with us full time. But CPAC is the one that is spearheading this thing. So we have to find resources, whether we get help from outside or not.
Well, when we say getting resources, but usually you have very high budget, right? Or you say resources by profession, or what are you talking about? Budget or?
Both actually, because whoever we engage, also we got to look at the budget. We got to see whether we can afford it or not. But what we been told, I mean, from my directors, they want us to keep a high standard, and that is our benchmark there. So we still have to look at budget. We still have to look at what's expensive and what we shouldn't afford and what we can afford. So we improvise a lot sometimes. If we can't afford to do this, we can find a different way to do it, and probably even more cost effective and cheaper. It's actually.
Yeah, I would say it's a mixture of, we do work with industry people, certainly the builders and that, but then CPACers, we've been doing this so long, we've homegrown our teachers into certain categories, so they can stage managers and stage ASMs to wardrobe and everything else. So
sound and light as well.
Yeah, sounds and light. Some of these guys started off from zero over time.
Lighting, I also see that you hang quite often, isn't it? Yeah,
Heng is
he's well known in the industry.
Exactly,
isn't it?
that's
He's
what I'm saying.
everywhere.
Yeah. It's a mixture. So Heng is the lighting designer, but along with that, we have our own operator. Yeah, so he comes in, and I'd have to say our operators learned a lot from Heng, and now it's kind of, Heng doesn't have to do as much.
Great. Then we can produce future lighting designer in that way. Yeah. So and another area that I'm quite curious with, because every time I see a Cempaka performance, it's very high energy and there's a lot of stunt. Do you take consideration of the safety of the children?
Depends. If I like them, yes. If not, with her, not so much. I just said go for it. No, of course, everything is done to a standard of, you're trying to, it's acting. It's acting. So you don't just say, okay, just jump over that couch. I said to her, okay, what would be good is if you could fall over the couch, and she's jumping and falling all over the couch.
Yes. And without much of training, physical preparation.
But at the same point, you start off, she's not just jumping straight away. She's, but also, you learn something. With Ileana, I knew she was a great actress, but I didn't know much about her background in some dance and that, obviously, which helps with controlling your body and that, because she was quite shy to even talk about that kind of thing. So then when I'd say, do you reckon you could, she'd be like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, let's see it. And then she just flew it. And also you have to have the actors that are willing to do that. She was one that was willing to just do whatever, because again, without making it sound artsy and it's for the art, it wasn't. It was for the character. She knew it's funny. She knew, right, Ileana? If anything, you embraced the silliness of it, didn't you? So much.
Yeah, even for Kimberly also, because she has got some gym background. So in her song also she did some.
Yes, that's why I thought. Did you do somersault? I can't remember, because I know there's a lot of. That's why I said stunt going on. Yeah.
And of course, if
do you want to expand on that? Do you have any preparation for that?
I technically just do gymnastics. I used to do gymnastics, so I just did some stunts, and then while I was dancing, I was just like,
decided to use it.
Yeah, I could just do it.
Great. So it wasn't forced or anything, yeah? Well, the production bring together professional performers and school theater group, yeah? And was there a moment during the process where collaborative across these different groups help elevate the show or beyond what a single department could have achieved?
I think we had a very strong cast for this one, all round, right down to our dance ensemble. You know, it was all very strong. So obviously they highlight it. But I do think, yes, I think it's the people that have worked with us for a long time know their jobs, so therefore the sets are something unique. And then when we're always thinking about, okay, what can we do for a big wow moment? What can we do? And then let's get some pyros in. So then you have to have people, you know, that can operate them safely and do things like that.
How much of this planning and it's from you, the director, or mainly with a group of people collaboratively coming out with possible?
I listen to everybody.
Exactly.
I don't.
Okay.
No,
and to say that. Yeah.
When he talks about money, budgets, then I ignore.
Okay.
I ignore the budget, and then give him the headache. But no, I think obviously you have your clear vision, but then I'll listen to the dance choreographers because they'll say, well, wouldn't it be better to put her over here? Or, you know, because it will highlight that, and wouldn't it be, so therefore you'll listen to that. Obviously I have to listen to my musical director in terms of music and vocals and that as well, where they'll say like, we're thinking of though the original song, you know, they go down, we were thinking of taking the key up on this part and so forth, you know. So I would say, yes, you have your main artistic vision, but then you take from everyone else, and particularly actors. I would have to say, you know, and it's credit to why Ileana is nominated. She added a lot to the character, and I'm very proud of that.
I noticed that also because I just wonder, for somebody so young, and how many shows do you do during the six shows every night, right, in a row? How do you actually maintain that? Maybe because you are young, that's why you can maintain that.
I think definitely at the start of rehearsals, I was dying. I was just so out of breath all the time, but you know, afterwards, when you do it every single day, you start getting used to it and you start to build up stamina. Yeah. And I think that really helped me in life in general.
Oh, that's great. That's a good lesson to carry on until your adulthood and your professional career. Yeah. That's fantastic.
And then Kimberly, that age, they're just ready to go again and again. Yeah. You do a big number, and she'd done a big number, and she'd sing, and they'd go, then, and I'd go, let's do it again.
Oh God!
And they'd reset, and they're happy to reset. They're like, oh, okay. And Ileana not so much happy to reset. She's a little bit more, oh, can I have 5? Yeah. But this one, no, she runs straight back to her mark, ready to go.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
How do you actually prepare that? Because you guys have to sing, dance, and act at the same time, and then do stunts.
Yeah, it's not enough. I know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just natural. I feel like I just can do it.
Yeah, you are like the young warm-up doll that you can actually keep them going, isn't it?
Duracell batteries in the back.
Yeah.
It tells us all the time that we wish that we are that age.
Yeah, but I'm sure you also need to tell them, okay, step back a little bit because you don't want to burn out, and then that need to be told. I
think. Fact, actually, the weekend it's tailored in such a way that they have a show on Saturday night, and then the next day is a matinee and a night.
Yeah.
So there are those three shows within that 24, 36 hours.
Yes. Well, do you like play differently during matinees? Some people.
No, we
don't have a swing cast. No.
Okay.
We don't.
It's
that would be a lot more work to then train 2 Deweys.
Well, I'm sure you would have what do you call the understudy though, right? For such things.
Actually, we don't.
You don't? Wow.
I'm glad you brought that up.
We just wing it.
Because these are young people. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
So you're brave.
Yeah, try not to jinx that. No, you're absolutely right. But we don't. We just, and well, I'll tell you, there was a problem of an eye infection going around in the School of Rock because of, well, we're not going to go into what we think it may be, but it spread. Her eyes were blood, red shot. They're burning. She's not feeling good, but she has to get up and she does it. It's a credit to them and their passion and what they want to get and perform. So what I would say is anybody coming, to a CPAC show and thinking they're coming to see a school show, you're not coming to see a school show. You're coming to see a professional production, and all the kids they all carry themselves professionally.
I think when they start to show signs that they're getting ill and all that, then we will quickly tell them, maybe take the day off or two or something like that and stay at home and really rest. And we rely on them to have that discipline, because if they don't, then they won't be strong enough to
but
act,
that's
act
still
in the
risky.
shows. Yeah.
That's still risky.
It
because
is
it's a
very
huge,
much.
Yeah. That's all we have, right? Let's wrap up our conversation with the School of Rock, the musical by Cempaka Performing Arts Company, Sendian Berhad. Congratulations again for all nominations. And my name is Foo Chi Wei, and thank you for watching.